Hello drone racers. Today I'm testing the new Bayangtoys X21. This is a GPS drone with a follow me mode that won't stay focused on me. It seems to be all over the place. There we go, and it's coming back, so it knows where I am. It doesn't seem like the remote hanging down by the side, but we're gonna do some tests with this because this is a pretty interesting drone. I'm not sure how flexible it is, but it has a gimbal on it that gives you a lot of flexibility. Unfortunately, as you can tell, it doesn't auto level at all. That would be pretty amazing. It basically hangs on a GoPro underneath it. So we're gonna do some tests with it and see how it does. Mainly, I'm gonna show you how to make it work because it's kind of interesting how bad the manual is. It took me a few tries to get it figured out, but it's working now and it's pretty slick. So let's go back to my house and try it. Are you coming? Coming. There we go, it managed to even not hit the house. Didn't touch the inputs at all the whole time there. So let's land it now, and what I'm gonna start by doing is showing you how to make it take off in the first place. Right, here's the drone. This is a dual GPS drone, and that's how it's able to do the follow me mode. There's a GPS in the drone itself, and there's a GPS in the controller. I tested it, just so you know, it's not using the GPS on your phone. It is using a GPS that must be in the controller here. So it comes with a battery. It's a 3S2200, which I consider the classic battery. I used to have tons and tons of these 10 years ago. Everything used them at all, but not these connectors. These are unique for me. So you slide the battery in here, and it's a little bit of a tight fit, and you connect these barrels. They are single directional, so you shouldn't be able to screw it up, and it turns on. Now, hear that tone? That means you've screwed it up. So the first time I tried this, it just sat here and I couldn't get it to connect. You turn on the radio and it just looks like it's broken. I thought I got a bad model, but I didn't. So what that means, that tone, turn the radio back off. That tone means it's powered but not turned on. There is a power switch right here that you've got to turn on. Before we do that though, it does actually power the camera in that case. So now you can see here, I've already connected to the UFO YD something something whatever. So then we've got the app here and it will connect and show you FPV. So part of what's unique about this, here's how the camera is. It's kind of a GoPro-ish system, but it plugs in, so it's powered from the main unit, but it has a GoPro style gimbal here and then some grommets. It's not fully controlled, it's not a full gimbal, but it is at least some cushion. Now this one I've got is kind of all over the place. I'm not sure everything's in balance. I'm not totally sure I don't have a motor problem, but it flies, so we're gonna go ahead and keep testing. I'm gonna reach down and flip the switch here on this side. So that'll turn on, now the lights will start flashing. And now you turn on the radio and it will start beeping. So give it a second, so will start finding GPS. 16 satellites right off the bat. So now what you have to do is move the controls this way, and that will change the lights so they start flashing like that. I'm going to show you all this because I'm actually not going to do what it says in the manual. I couldn't get that to work. So you rotate it here 3 times. Three, I think. And then we'll rotate it this way 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And then we rotate it this way. So that middle step, I don't think was in the manual. And because I certainly didn't see it. Now the lights are solid and it's good to go. So now it will fly. The app is not too bad. It looks pretty much like every other one we've got here. So now what you do to start the blades is turn the props this way, or the controls this way, and it will start the blade spinning. And you just push up. Now this is a GPS drone, so it will just sit there then. So that's part of the nice part about it. This one kind of wobbles around and it makes a little bit of a funny sound, so that's why I'm not totally sure I don't have a problem with one of the motors. I think it should be more solid than this. So I do, look at this. Those spins nice. Nope, bad motor. I don't know if this is repairable, but I'm going to go find out. So I guess we're gonna try surgery on one of our first reviews of this. So I fixed my issue, it wasn't too bad. Now they all spin, and this is the one that was bad. I end up just having to take out a couple of screws here, and there are a couple of metric screws underneath to take out the motor. Turned out, I think one of them was loose and it was rubbing because this whole bell spins. It was rubbing against the one side, you could see, and it was just causing it to not spin properly. Now it's spinning just fine, and it's gonna fly a whole lot better. So at least it was an easy fix. It didn't require real repairs or anything. So now you can see it's sitting there a whole lot better. That's the way it's supposed to be. Yeah, that's actually the way I would expect it. So it was just a problem before. It does correct a lot. You'll see here when it flies, it stops and it tries to stop. It corrects a lot. So a lot more than some of the others that I had, the Bugs 2. I'm gonna start my phone going again. Just leave it here while I get that going. So now we have the app going. It's way smoother than it was earlier. Still not perfect, but it is going, and it works, and it's just a whole lot smoother than what I had going yesterday. Start recording again, so we just click the app, and now it shows that it's recording to and the time that it's recording. So now what I've got is I should be able to fly it a ways away. And doing some testing, I've been really impressed by the range on this. I was able to get easily 200 meters and have signal without any problem at all, which is really nice. So there I'm about 100 meters, and you can see it going over there. It's a nice big black dot, which is kind of nice. And there I'm almost at 200 meters. It broke up a little bit yesterday when I was doing some testing, but there it's still totally reasonably smooth. So I can see it in the air, but I can also have FPV view out of the camera. So if I go up more, there we go, there it is, there's a dot in the sky. So I can hit the center button here, is return to home, and it should fly back to us. Now one of the things I have learned with this, you'll see I've lost my view here. And that's because it got far enough away that I lost signal on it for a second. And I'm standing right next to my house, and next to my house, my phone now has reconnected to my home network, which is a problem. I don't want that to happen. So if you're not at home, it won't be a problem. But if you're at home, it's a little bit of an issue. You might need to remove your home network for it to land. So I can turn off return to home with the button here. But let's see how it does with a test here now. It's gonna come down and see if it lands on my truck. Be prepared to turn off return to home. It's a little bit off. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna stop it there. You know, it wouldn't have hit it, but it's probably 5 feet off. So that's a decent ways off from where I was. So one of the other things I want to try here is the circle mode. You're gonna get to see my dorky GoPro hat. Reconnect the Wi-Fi here. Oh, so here what has happened, actually we'll see how the video turns out. I don't have an SD card in there, so it shows me that it's recording to my phone. I forgot to put the SD card back in, so at least I still have the option. That's kind of nice, but it's not gonna be the same quality as having the card in there. So I'm gonna try this now, turn to myself with my dorky hat, and turn on the surround mode. So it's gonna go back and around, and let's see what it does. Hello? Okay, this is with no input. It's not bad. There we go, it's smoothing out. That's not bad. That's with no input. Will it just keep going around? It took it a second. It's way windier today than it was yesterday. So that's actually not too bad. And it's at a nice, decent level. So if I wanted to do this, it actually works. The ground in my backyard is sloped, so the barometric pressure, it does seem to be following the slope of the hill pretty well, which kind of surprises me. So there we go, that works pretty well. That worked far smoother than I expected. Okay, I've got it all going again. I've got screen recording on so you can see what it looks like on my phone. I've got it disconnected from my Wi-Fi in the house, so hopefully I can start recording now. There we go. And so I want to do a flight test out and see how it looks now at a distance. At about 200 meters, how is my view? And it's going to be recorded. I've got a little more camera angle. I changed that for better or worse. So now I can connect it out. Get a little more height just to make sure. I've got good line of sight. I realized in some editing that with the GoPro you can't see it at all. So hopefully with the screen recording you can see a little better, and we'll compare that then with the recorded video on the card. Go up a little bit more. I'm only at 15 meters now. So here we're out at about 200 meters, and it's breaking up just a little bit. It cut out, but then it caught back up. So there I can stop and I can hover. I can turn around, and hopefully now what happens is it keeps working and it doesn't disconnect like it did yesterday, because it's not going to reconnect to my home network. And it did disconnect right at 200 meters. We'll see if it reconnects. Does not seem to be reconnecting. I can see it as a dot in the sky now. So yeah, about 200 meters seems to be about the maximum range for this. When you're going away, it was okay, but when I turned around to come back, it wouldn't connect, and it doesn't seem to be doing a very good job reconnecting. I'm at 27 meters, so I'm barely above the tree height, so I don't worry about any airplanes in this area here. It's just sitting there pretty good. So let's do one more return to home test and see if it comes back to us. Hopefully. There we go. It looks like it's coming straight back to us. It's cruising. It seems like since I turned on 3D mode to try it, it just flies faster, even on easy mode. So there it is, cruising back really well. This will be just one last test. We'll see if it lands and doesn't crush my truck this time. Yeah, crush my truck, i.e. see if it lands in the right spot. So there we go. Hey, you know what? That looks a lot better today. And come on down. It was super windy earlier when I was testing. It has died down, but it's still a little bit windy. So let's see, how far are we off of there? Oh, it's moving back into its spot just a little bit. That's not too bad. It does just crash a lot when it lands, falls over. I've hit the props, I don't know how many times, many times, and that seems fine for that. It's where did I take off from? About over here, and there it's over there. That's 4 feet, 5 feet away, within 2 meters. That's not too bad. You want to, if I sit in the middle of this, I'm not too worried about it. So not too bad. It's okay, but we'll go inside for our final recap. A couple things real quick we didn't get to see outside. The remote control has the iPhone holder, but it ships with this on it, which looks like a regular antenna. And the instructions, again, aren't very clear. This actually pulls off of here, and this was installed on here. You have to pull this off, it just pulls off. There's an antenna. You got to kind of wedge it in there, and then this fits on back on top of that. So just so you know, that took me a few minutes to figure out. There's the kit that has an Allen wrench and a screwdriver and just a bar with it. And I think that's designed for tightening these. These are actually my favorite design for prop nuts. These do have black and silver, so some of them are reverse threaded, and there's no wrench. You just slide that through and then tighten it. It's actually my favorite design because I have Allen wrenches that I use for that, whatever's handy. I actually really like that because I don't have to have a wrench for it. It does come with an extra set of props, and then the charger, which I didn't use mainly because it's an international charger. I'm in the United States, so if you get this, you either need a different charger or you need to have an adapter for that. If you're ordering these drones from China, I think just having an adapter is a good idea because you never know when you're going to get one you can't use. The motors are kind of neat. They're very deep and protected in here, but that is part of what caused my problem too, where one was rubbing and I had to take it out. It was been good since then, but that was a little odd. And here's the mount. You can see the camera has a GoPro style mount on it, and then this camera plugs in and it provides power, but I think what's happening is it's actually providing power to this. I think the FPV or I think the FPV and the video is actually coming from this unit because it works even when the drone isn't turned on. So I'm pretty sure that's just providing power. Then this camera is actually doing everything. You can take this out of here, and this is, I think, a standard GoPro form factor if you would want to replace it. It is adjustable, so if you want to do an angle, I guess you can't go straight down, but you can go pretty far down, or for some reason you want to go up. Does not turn though, you have to turn the quadcopter, and the arms would be in the way anyway. The gimbal, for lack of a better word, is just 4 rubber grommets, which are kind of holding on here. So in theory, as it vibrates, it keeps the camera a little more steady. It kind of sort of worked, I guess. Here's the best look at the radio, and the problem I have with it is the buttons have no labels on them. This is just a totally generic radio, and there's no indication. You just have to know what all these buttons do, and if you press the wrong one and don't know what it was, it might be hard to fix. You've got speed, and then the landing button, which has no indicator, and then the middle's return to home. There's no logic to it at all. It doesn't really go with the remote. So, I mean, it worked, but I wasn't super impressed. That's kind of how it was with the whole thing. For the price, what makes this one stand out is the follow me mode, which we used at the beginning. And keep in mind, when you saw that, I was having the motor rubbing, so it was worse than it really was. It could do a little better than that. And then the surround me mode, for the price of this, which is pretty low, those features aren't all that common. But the GPS hold, the range, the FPV, I've got to say the Bugs 2W that I reviewed just did all of them better. It just felt more solid. The return to home felt better. The GPS hold just in the wind, just standing, seemed better. When it would land itself, it seemed better. The FPV seemed better. The remote control is better. But that one does have a fixed camera. It has one angle. There's no adjustment. So that's the other thing where this is pretty unique. And I can already hear people saying, why don't they put a 3D gimbal on that? Because this drone itself is cheaper than a 3D gimbal. 3D gimbals, right now the cheapest I see is about 150 bucks for just a handheld one. If you would put one of those on the drone, you basically double the price of the drone, and then you get into $300 category, and then you get into the Xiaomi Mi drone, I think that's what it's called, which I just bought that we'll be reviewing soon. So if those features are really important to you, I think you're better off spending a little bit more, and there you get 4K and a full controlled gimbal, and that thing will be amazing. But there right now, I just paid $369 for that one, $200 more-ish than this. This will be in that range. Honestly, I don't remember what I paid for this one. I bought so many of them recently, and the Bugs were all in the 150 to 200 range, and this was in that range too. But it's probably not going to be my first pick unless you really want the gimbal to be able to control the camera angle or want the follow me mode, and that is your budget. For that budget, for that price range, if that is your hard cap budget, it's not a bad drone. But if you want something that flies better, I would probably go with the Bugs. If you want something that really has a controllable gimbal, the Xiaomi, which is still way cheaper than a Phantom, will give you those aspects a whole lot better. So it just depends on what you're looking for. And on that note, let me know what you're looking for, because I want to review more of these. I've kind of gotten hooked on the GPS drones. Being able to set it outside, get it in the air, and just have it sit there while you go do something else, it's kind of cool. Don't get me wrong, I still love the racing drones. They are thrilling and exciting, but the luxury of being able to fly these, and once I get one with a good camera, there's some big allure to that too. But let me know what it is you're looking for. And until next time, remember, at least I didn't lose this one.